Welcome to KetoMealsAndRecipes.com. Today I will be showing you how I make one of my family's favorite, very easy and quick to make weekday meals, which is a modified version of the classic chicken fajita. In this case, an easy one-pot meal. Before continuing, I would like to say that I picked up several ideas, and especially the use of chicken thighs, from a wonderful lady named Rockin' Robin. I will post the link to her original recipe in the description below, so please check it out and give her a thumbs up. In this video, I will also show you how to make a classic version which uses chicken breasts and, as I already mentioned, moist and juicy chicken thighs, so two versions for the price of one. Here are the macronutrient charts. First, the macronutrient ratio for the chicken fajita made with the chicken breast is 1:1, with 12.7 grams of total carbs, 2.3 grams of dietary fiber, resulting in 10.4 grams of net carbs for the entire serving. Here's the second version, which uses chicken thighs, as Robin did in her recipe. There's not much difference in how you prepare these two, but a bit of it. So please watch the entire video for all the tips I'm going to provide, as well as check out the end links where I will provide other suggestions that might accompany or complement this meal. So the macronutrient ratio for the chicken thigh version is 1:1 with 8.9 grams of total carbs, 2.2 grams of dietary fiber, resulting in only 6.7 grams of net carbs per serving. And the reason for the difference is because the chicken thigh meat is much fattier than chicken breast, so you get better macro ratios. I'd also like to point out that these macros do not include any kind of pita or tortilla. It's just the fajita mix, because I'm going to leave it up to you to decide whether you want it as a tortilla or as a salad. But if you do want a tortilla or a flatbread, here are a few options that I've made. The first one is my pita two-way recipe. Another option is you could use my easy flaxseed wrap 3-ingredient recipe and make flaxseed tortillas, which are really good. And the last suggestion for today is you could make my tortilla and hard shell tacos, and either the soft or hard shell works perfectly well with these fajitas. Because I like to give you options, here I'm showing you the skinless, boneless chicken thigh and some of the ingredients I'm going to use. And in this other grouping, I'm showing you the chicken breast version of the assembled ingredients. The next thing I like to do is to first prepare the vegetables. I cut the red bell peppers, also known as capsicums in Australia and the UK, into thin ribbons. To add a bit of color, I'm also going to use yellow bell peppers, also cut into thin ribbons. The next thing is to peel off the outer skin of the onion and cut it in half, and then cut each half into very thin ribbons. My family likes our fajitas a bit spicy, and the way we spice it up is by using a fresh jalapeno. I first cut it in half, then scrape out the seeds, cut it into thin ribbons, and cut the ribbons into very tiny little pieces. A second tip that I picked up from Robin was she uses zucchini in her recipe, so I tried it and I thought it was amazing. Like Robin, I'm going to add some zucchini to my recipe as well. Cut the zucchini into 3 to 4 inches or 7 to 10 centimeter long strips, similar to what you would do for zucchini fries. You may think that the zucchini is a really strange addition to the fajitas, but please do give it a try. It adds an amazing layer of flavor, and the texture is really nice with the rest of the vegetables. After I've completed cutting up all my vegetables, I just set them aside for a moment. I would also like to explain why I do the vegetables first. It's because I use the same cutting board for both the vegetables and the meat, and by doing the vegetables first, I'm not cross-contaminating my vegetables with the chicken. I know everyone knows how to cut the chicken breast into thin strips, so you can do that on your own. And after doing that, I place my chicken strips into a casserole dish, as you can see here. Then I pour the olive oil on top of the chicken. I toss well to coat the meat. Doing this step first will help the seasoning stick to the meat better. For your fajita seasoning, you can either use a store-bought prepared fajita seasoning, but if you do so, just read the label very carefully, making sure there's no sugar or other starches in the ingredients. Or you can make a really delicious homemade fajita seasoning mix. To make your own fajita seasoning, all you will need is 8 easily available herbs and spices. And if you're making your own seasoning, just stir everything together very well to make a homogeneous mixture. By the way, please let me know if you would like me to make a video showing you how to make your own Mexican fajita seasoning mix. This particular recipe I'm using today has a lot of flavor and is a much tastier version than the store-bought. Now that my chicken fajita seasoning is well mixed, I sprinkle it on top of the oil-coated meat and then toss well to make sure every piece is well coated. The last part of the marinade seasoning step is to simply drizzle your freshly squeezed lime juice on top and toss well to combine. This was the hard part. All you have to do now is to allow the meat to absorb the flavor, so just cover the bowl and then place the meat in the refrigerator and let it marinate for 30 minutes. But if you have time, you can let it marinate up to 4 hours or even overnight. And when it's time for me to fry my marinated chicken, I like to use my shallow Dutch oven, or if you prefer and have one, you can use a cast iron skillet, or alternatively use any heavy-bottomed frying pan. Preheat your pan on medium heat and then pour in the rest of the oil. When you notice that the oil is sizzling, place about half of the chicken into the pan, but don't crowd. You want to sear the meat, not steam it. And as it's searing, toss every once in a while until the chicken is cooked all the way through. It took me about 6 to 7 minutes. The reason I use pre-cut strips is because it makes cooking time much quicker. You want your meat to be done, but not overcooked, because overcooking will make the meat very tough and stringy. When your first batch is done, scoop out this meat and set it aside in a separate bowl. You will notice that there's still a lot of oil in the pan, so you don't really need to add any more. And for the second batch, just do exactly what you did with the first. And repeat with the rest of the seasoned chicken. Scoop out the chicken and transfer it to the bowl that you placed your first batch of chicken into. Now, before you proceed to the vegetables, increase your heat to medium-high. If you notice that most of your oil is gone, and if needed, add 1 more tablespoon of oil and then toss in the chopped jalapeno pieces. Cook for about 30 seconds or so to season the oil. At this point, simply toss in your bell pepper capsicums, your onions, and your zucchini. What you want to do is to sear the vegetables until the bell peppers, zucchini, and onions have a bit of a char on them. This charring will bring out a little bit of extra flavor. But even though you're charring your vegetables on the medium-high heat, you don't want your vegetables to be soggy. So only cook them to the al dente stage. So for this first demonstration with the chicken breast, I'm going to add the chicken pieces and any juices on the plate back into my Dutch oven with the vegetables. And just toss everything together, cooking for 1 to 2 minutes to reheat the chicken. All that's left to do is to remove the pan from the heat, because you're all done. Now to show you the chicken thigh version. The only real difference is how you prepare the meat. At this point, take your boneless, skinless chicken thighs, check them over and trim off any excess fat or sinew that still might be on the thighs. I like to have my chicken thighs cut a bit wider than I did with the chicken breast. Because the chicken thigh will result in shorter pieces, I cut each of the sections so that each piece is just slightly narrower than the width of a fork. And then you season exactly as you did your chicken breasts. And after your thighs have rested, you pan grill them in the same order and in the same manner as you did your chicken breasts. But you might find that the thighs take a little bit longer to cook. When you're done cooking the chicken thighs, you will notice a very nice fond on the bottom of your pan. It's this fond and the seasoning in the oil that will flavor your vegetables, so you don't need to add any more seasoning, unless you like your fajitas extra spicy. In this version, I'm serving the 2 parts of the recipe in separate bowls because I want each person to be able to customize their wrap or tortilla as they prefer. Because these fajitas are really flavorful, you don't really need to dress them up a lot. But to finish this meal, you could top with some sour cream. As you know, tortillas, flatbreads, etc. add extra carbs to your meal. So if you don't want to use them, or you don't have any on hand, this chicken fajita can be served as a chicken fajita salad bowl. So for my salad bowl, I simply shred some romaine lettuce, layer it with my chicken fajita, and then top with 1 or 2 dollops of sour cream. or you could also use avocado slices or whatever toppings you prefer. And now it's time to enjoy. Thank you very much for watching my chicken fajita one-pan meal video. By the way, if you like this recipe, please share this link with a friend or family, press the like button, and leave me a comment or question. I absolutely love hearing and corresponding with everyone. And come back and join me when I post my next video. Until next time, take good care of yourself and your loved ones. Cheers.